Hello, and welcome back to the channel. As most of you know, I'm Topher, and for those of you who don't know and just randomly decided to click on my video, welcome to the channel. I'm Topher. Thank you for stopping by. So we're here to do a reaction, and we're diving back into the Untamed. We're diving into episode 37. End of last episode, we were in the midst of this, not really abandoned town, but there was a lot of fog, and in amidst the fog, there was this guy who was trying to steal from Zhan and Wuxian earlier in the episode, and Zhan went to chase him off. Meanwhile, Wuxian and the other like subordinate cultivators from his clan, from Zhan's clan, were trying to find some way out of this ghost town. They got attacked by some zombies or some puppets, and then the puppets like dissolved. So then they managed to find some inn that had somebody there, and she seemed creepy as all hell. And Wuxian discovered by the end of the episode that it appeared as though she was also a puppet, and that is where the episode ended. So we're going to see what is going to happen now, if we are able to escape this haunted town and whatnot. If there are any people left in the town who are not puppets, we're just going to dive in and see what manner of shenanigans take place. Okay, so we didn't get any more this episode with the innkeeper, whatever the lady was that I guess was the owner of the house that the group went in at the end of the last episode. We discovered that she had some, veins that made her seem as though she was a ghost puppet. But now I don't even know if she was a ghost puppet anymore, because it seemed like everybody and their mother now is out here sporting these black veins, and some of them are in their right mind, some of them are puppets, some of them dissolve when you scream at them. So I don't know. Maybe she was a ghost puppet, maybe she wasn't a ghost puppet, maybe she was just somebody with black veins. I don't know. But we didn't get any more for this episode. We did have some fun interactions between Wuxian and his nephew. Jingling was just like being he was being his normal self, and Wuxian was just like, "Hey, little boy, listen to what I say. Go dust over here. Go clean this. I'm not making this for you." "What do you mean I can't have any? I've worked so hard." "Listen, this is for the poison people. Go clean something, little boy. I will call you when I need you." Like, just, but it's nice to see them have this sort of, I don't know, like, at first, when we were first introduced to the nephew, you could see that he had this just very, very intense dislike towards Wuxian's character. Before his uncle's out here even thinking that he might be Wuxian in disguise or anything like that, he just had this very down, he looked down on him. He did not have any time for him, this, that, the other. And throughout, since we've come back from the flashback, through their interactions and the things they've gone through, he's still kind of, "Oh, I can't be told," has this air about himself. He's a teenager, but they just seem to have, I don't know, a more cordial, I guess, interaction with one another. They just feel less like little boy is trying to take down Wuxian, or less like he hates Wuxian or something like that, and more just like little, they just feel like family in a sense. So it's nice to see those sort of interactions at play, especially as the episode progressed and we were seeing all the things Wuxian was doing to protect all these little boys, and just how in amazement they were by him. Like, you could see that they were really just kind of in awe of him and really starting to really respect him. nephew included. So it was just nice. It was nice to see those interactions. But I guess the big takeaway from this episode, we had who we thought was it Xian? We thought we had him. Like, we heard tales about him going mad and blinding his lover, his friend or whatever they called him in the series, but boyfriend, we can call a spade, or killing him or something along those lines. I remember we had those little rumors going around a couple episodes ago, when Lanjan and Wuxian were at the tavern. So we finally saw him, and it's like, oh crap, bring him in here. He's poisoned. He's hurt, and he seems like he's blinded because he's wearing this band over his eyes. So yeah, let's get him in. We're gonna treat his poison. Don't worry, we got you. And then Wuxian did whatever talisman to keep the door intact, but Song Long came flying through, or his puppet came flying through the rooftop, and Wuxian whipped out that flute and just started playing do, and that stopped him enough, kept him at bay enough for them to restrict him, to bind him. And then Wuxian was starting to think about Wei Ning and how he had the nails in the back of his head. And he's like, oh, let me just start feeling around. Boop, there we go. And then, but Song Long had already had his tongue cut out, which is why they were using the zither to communicate with him. And they basically got some basic answers. I'm Song Long. Who hurt you? Zhao Jichen, which I don't know if he was saying that because it was it Xue Yang, because it was him in disguise as the other guy. So when Song Long got hurt, he assumed it to be Zhao Jichen, or if Zhao actually did hurt him prior to being dead, which we found out at the end of the episode. Don't know. I'm thinking it's probably more of the former. It was Xue Yang in disguise, masquerading, and he was the one who hurt him. So that's just the memory that Song Long has. And then he's like, who's controlling you? And he's like, the person behind you. Which, again, I don't know if that is the spirit of Song Long conscious of the fact that that is Xue Yang, or if that's him still thinking that that's Xiao back there. I don't know. There's lots of things that, lots of ways it could go. But either way, he stood up and we're like, oh my God, what's going on here? And then he's like, hey, little boys, get out the room. Adults are talking, big boys are talking, you go out there. So they went out, the little boys went outside, and they sent the Song Long puppet after them. And then Wuxian was just talking. And then we come to realize throughout the way the conversation's going that it was in fact Xue Yang in disguise. So I'm like, okay, this makes more sense. Because I had lots of questions as to why all of a sudden this sweet boy had such a personality switch. Because like, it didn't feel like the Xiao that we've seen. Like, granted, I only saw him for like 2 episodes, but still, it didn't feel like him. The energy just felt off. So I'm glad that it was not him and like, oh, surprise, we're revealing his true intentions. It was just someone masquerading as him. So then it's Xue Yang. And I don't know the actor's name who plays him, but I can tell you that he understood the assignment. Like, he understood this character was supposed to be just crazy, but still with, all his faculties in order. So he's not just like a complete mental case and just doesn't know what he's like. No, he is a crazy lunatic, wants to see the world burn down, but he knows exactly, he's smart and he knows exactly what he's doing. Like I said there, and like I said in past when we first met him, there's so many similarities personality wise between he and Lanjan that I felt like Wuxian, that I felt like if Wuxian had just gone down a different path growing up, he could have been Xue Yang, and vice versa. Like, there's just so many similarities that I was seeing when we first met him, and then kind of coming up here again when they were discussing the the yin iron and how he keeps showing him all this respect and I'm calling you senior and like, yes, I was able to do this, but you were able to do that. And like, it's like we're two peas in a pod. So, you know, I couldn't figure this out on my own, but maybe we can figure this out together. And it's just like they have these similarities. Obviously, Wuxian has a different moral compass than he does, but there were just like some similarities in just their thought processes about cultivation and using these different elements or these forbidden arts and whatnot. Obviously, the intention is different between them, but like there were just these similarities where it's like they could have potentially been the same person had they gone down the same path growing up. But yeah, so Xue Yang's out here pulling a lot of the strings. I don't know if he's the grand puppet master. I don't know if he is the big bad. I still feel like there might be someone else lingering in the background that's yet to be revealed. Because we're only on episode, 37 now. So we've still got, how many episodes are in this? 50 in total, so we've still got 13 episodes. So there's still a lot of time for us to explore and bring in some new person who was probably already introduced at some point in time. Meng Yao, I'm looking at you. But I feel like, I don't know that Xue Yang is the big puppeteer here. I feel like he never gave me, at least in the couple interactions we had with him earlier in the series, he never really gave me like big final boss vibes. He gave me kind of head henchman vibes. Like, hey, this is my right hand man. This is the person I send out to get business done. Like, if I want somebody dead, I send him out. If I want this handled, I send him out. Like, he always gave me those sort of right hand man vibes versus like, I'm like when Rohan gives me big bad, kind of vibes. Xue Yang doesn't, there's something about his presence and just his general aura that doesn't give me like big final boss, but who knows, maybe he is. But I just feel like there's still someone out there that is pulling the grand strings in all of this, but Xue Yang has his hands in it a lot. I don't know if that means that he was the person who was playing the other flute. Like, they were throughout their conversation and he was talking about like his experimentation and how he's able to discover these things about the yin iron, and surprise, there was a fifth piece, which makes sense, but all these things he was able to figure out and all these. So it makes me think that maybe he was the person playing the other flute during the big battle at the, Nightless City, which makes sense because, he's been there before, so it wouldn't be a surprise. So maybe he was the one playing that flute. He seemed to be the person putting the nails in all of these other puppets and controlling them or attempting to control them. So yeah, I don't know to what end he's trying to do. Like, he's trying to get this someone's spiritual consciousness reassembled, and he needs Wuxian's help to do that. Who this person whose spiritual consciousness he needs to reassemble, don't know yet. Do not quite know. And I'm interested as to who is so important to him that he needs to reassemble their spiritual consciousness from however it got. Well, it sounded like they died. So why he needs to reassemble their spiritual consciousness, don't know. Is it Wen Rohan? We bringing him back? Is it his big bad boss? Is it his father? Is it his lover? I don't know. But there's someone that's important enough to him for whatever reason right now that he's trying to bring back their spiritual consciousness, trying to reassemble that, and he needs Wuxian's help. And Wuxian's like, I'm not gonna help you because you're crazy and you killed my friends and whatnot. And then towards the end of the episode we saw where Xiao was actually dead, and it's like, oh, sad face. And then that's what she's not a ghost. And I guess she's not a puppet. Maybe she is a puppet. I don't know. But the blind and deaf or mute woman, I guess that's what she was looking for this whole time. They thought she was trying to lead them out of the city, and she's been avoiding Xue Yang. But it seemed as though she was looking for Zhao's coffin. They gave a name when she started crying. After they opened the coffin and she started crying, they gave her a name. I don't remember what the name was, and I don't remember a lot of the storyline that they gave Zhao earlier, other than the fact that I was shipping him with Songlan. So I don't know if she was a girlfriend, a sister, a friend, an acquaintance. Don't know, because like they were talking about, oh, her clothes look like she's a beggar, this, that, and the other. I'm like, y'all, she's been roaming out here in this dusty, poisonous weather for God knows how long, blind and mute, with looks like her tongue was cut out. She's got blood all over her clothes. Of course, she looks a mess right now. So, but she could have been some sort of noble dignitary who had this bad stuff happen to her, and now she looks a hot mess. Don't know. But they gave her some name when she was like crying there. So I don't know what role she's going to play, but right now it seems as though we're trying to make some sort of contact with her. Sweet Boy asked if you want me to get my zither out and try and do a spiritual connection or whatever they called it with her, like they did with Songlan, and he's like, no, we've got to do it. Might get misconstrued. She may not want to answer the questions. We've got to try empathy, which I don't know what that entails, but from the sound of it, it seems as though it requires someone to like maybe go into her consciousness. Maybe it's like a meditative state or something, and try to communicate that way. So I think they're going to try and talk to her and find out who she is, what she knows, why she's running from Xue Yang, what happened to Xiao, what's her relation to him, this, that, the other. So we'll have to wait and see there. But it was a very entertaining episode, and it just kind of flew by, as that seems to be a common thread for the last like 5-10 episodes. Things just kind of fly by. So I enjoyed, and I might just dive into the next one right now, perhaps. If you see my reaction to episode 38 and I'm wearing this shirt, you know what happened. But I hope you guys enjoyed this reaction. If you did, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, turn on notifications to be notified when all my shenanigans get posted. If there's anything else you'd like me to react to, be sure to leave it down in the comments. I'll get to it as soon as I possibly can. If you'd like to support the channel in other ways, you're more than welcome to join us over on Patreon. Don't have to, but you're more than welcome to if you want to. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Love you. Mwah. Time